Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to do this look inspired by dragons that guard an enchanted forest and the treasures hidden within. I'm starting off with a headdress, which is just two pieces of wire made into the headband shape, and I'm taping these florals that I found at Michael's to them that are just like these long, sparkly kind of plant things. I don't know what you would call them. And I'm telling you now, you might want to use something more like duct tape than the electrical tape I used here because the silver ones fell off a few times. I added these leaves to the front, but they gave it too much volume. For the horns, all I did was take tinfoil and electrical tape, and I started making the shape that I wanted them into. And I would not suggest doing this method for large horns like this, as they tend to be very heavy, and the larger you make them, the harder they are to get even. Start by tracing a circle with my nails around roughly the same size as the base of the other horn. And I just kind of ball it up and start making this weird lumpy shape that I will use as the base. The bottom will tend to be rounded out with this method, so you'll have to push it against a flat surface to get a flatter edge. So basically I just took another small piece of tinfoil and rolled it up into a little ball to start building up some height. And I did this. As you can see, I just put the little ball on top and just encased it in tinfoil, building it up. Please keep in mind that if you use this method to make horns this large, they will be quite heavy, but you will forget that you are wearing them after a while. So be careful if you go through any lower doors, because you have gained about a foot in height with these horns. Now, to paint these, I did not record it, just so you know. I did not want to risk getting my camera covered in spray paint, but I will go over it in more detail later. So I just wrapped it up, and once I got the desired shape, I started wrapping it up in electrical tape. Now these horns are very similar to the shape of Maleficent's horns from Disney's Maleficent. So if you could get any good reference pictures of her horns, that's basically the shape I chose, but you can make your horns however you want. Yeah, you'll have to excuse this. The wind was not a friend that day. But the lighting was so perfect outside, and it was a really nice day, that I had to be outside for some time. You can always tear chunks off like I am here if you get too big of a piece of tinfoil for the section you're working with. So to paint them, I was rather simple. I spray painted them the glossy black, and then I went over that in a metallic kind of pearlescent purple, and then I added silver to the highlight points. But that's basically simple, but there is another step that you should do before you spray paint them, which I'll show you next. Just wrap them up in electrical tape, not all the way, just in certain areas. Now this is a latex paste, which is really simple and easy to make. You just pour liquid latex into a bowl and add flour little by little till you get this weird pasty kind of mess. So then I just spread it onto the horn that I had, and then I just stuck my finger in regular liquid latex and started to smooth it out. But I didn't smooth it out all the way because I wanted some texture left on the horns that I couldn't get with the tinfoil. Now here's what the horns are like when I already painted them. You can't really see them, but I did attach them to this headband with hot glue and pipe cleaners. But I would definitely suggest getting a much larger headband than the one I'm using here because my horns were not very sturdy and kind of wobbled around when I walked. If I tilted my head too far one way, they tended to lean that way. So now for application, I'm just going to put a white shimmery color in the inner corners using my finger because I find when I do it with brushes, the little hairs get in between my lower and upper eyelid and just poke me in the eye, which is really annoying, and I hate it, but I digress. So I just took a shimmery purple that kind of shifted in the light and placed that in the crease and all over the lid. Now, you might be able to see these cheekbone prosthetics that I made, but I ended up taking them off because the edges were really thick and hard to blend, and I really just, once I added the scales, they were gonna look really funky, so I just got rid of them. I'm taking a fluffy brush with a little bit of a bluish, more blue-purple, and blending it out into the crease, and a little bit on the outer corner and kind of a wing shape. Again, smudging it with my fingers to soften it up. Taking a matte purple, I'm remaking my inner corner by making it much bigger and a little more theatrical, kind of like in drag makeup where the inner corner is like giant compared to a normal inner corner. And I'm not smoking it out yet, and I'm keeping it rather thin. I know it looks a little thick, but it still looked pretty good at the end result. And I'm taking that same matte purple and giving myself the tiniest little wing on the outer corner, which I will then blend out with my fluffy blending brush. Then I'm taking that same shimmery white and just gently dotting it onto that outer corner where I smoked it out a little bit and kind of blending it out so it wasn't as smoky. Now I'm taking my Urban Decay After Dark palette and I'm taking the light purple shade called Druggy, and I'm just going to be placing that on the center of my lid and towards the inner corner and a little bit at the outer corner, and then I'm going to also be using that to gently smoke out my lower lash line, but not that line at the inner corner. I'm not smoking that out. Now here I'm moving on to just a little more blending, but I'm going to quickly go over how I do my lips, which is just following my natural lip shape, but most people's lips are not like mine because I have a really pointy Cupid's bow, so I just followed that, but Mikey from Glam & Gore has a really good tutorial on how to get over-exaggerated pointy lips, so I would suggest watching that if you don't have already pointy lip shape. So here I'm just putting a plummy purple on like this bridge of my nose and blending it out to give it a little more oomph. Here you can see me following my lip shape, but yours are hopefully not as pointy as mine if you don't like that. Then I wing out my liner and add little flicks coming off of it just to give it a more fun shape. And I went over my eyebrows with a black color just to darken them up. Here I'm putting the scales on, which are just dried drops of liquid latex. I'm putting regular liquid latex on my forehead and just laying them out how I want them. Laying them out very similar to how Mikey from Glam & Gore did her Toxic Mermaid look, but mine are going to be purple at the end, not green. And I'm not dragging them down as far as hers either. And you do not have to use liquid latex for this step if you are allergic or it irritates your skin at all. Or if you just don't have it available to you, you can use Spirit Gum, Pros-Aid, other skin adhesives, I digress. So here I'm just going around each scale with a deep purple cream color and tapping it out. And I also went over them with a light purple cream color, but I lost the footage. Here is the final look. I hope you enjoy. Thanks!